everyone, and welcome to Silverstreak News Episode 10. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We have 3 segments for you today. We are going to start with Senior Spotlight and then go to an edition of Around Town.
Also, we're going to be having an interview with Mr. Wesley.
And with that, off to Logan.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us for our Senior Spotlight segment again today. Hopefully the Zoom meeting works this time. We are here with Carter Grove and Madison Johansson. Thank you two so much for joining us today. Now the reason I selected you two guys for this week was specifically I was keeping in mind the AAA award that happened a couple of months ago. You were both nominees for Section 6, and Carter, you happen to be the winner. Congratulations. But I just want to ask you about your post-secondary plans, but specifically concerning each aspect of the A.
Yeah, so I plan on going to St. John's University and getting degrees in pre-dentistry and computer science. And I'm going to be running cross-country for their cross-country team and possibly running track. And I would like to get involved in some sort of band or choir group.
Awesome, sounds great. Madison, how about you?
I will be attending Bemidji State University to get my teaching degree in elementary education, and I'll be getting my coach's certificate as well. I don't plan on partaking in any of the actual college sports, but I will be playing in the intramurals. And as of now, I don't have any plans for the music and arts yet, but I would definitely like to see what that's all about once I get on campus.
Awesome, sounds great. Okay, my second question for you both. What is your most hilarious but appropriate memory from your high school career?
Well, a lot of funny stuff happened in our math class throughout the years, and it probably had to have something to do with cottage cheese and a calculator.
Cottage cheese and a calculator. Okay. How about you, Madison?
Well, one time in Mr. Hunter's 10th grade English, probably where a lot of stuff goes down, 2 of my classmates were just having a little fun. One of them was pretending to be a dog and jumping on the tables, and one of the other ones did not like it, so he pushed them off, and then they proceeded to get into a little, let's just say, brawl, and they ended up breaking one of Mr. Hunter's tables, and that was pretty funny.
All right, my third and final question for you. Just pick somebody from the school, a teacher, a student, a faculty member that you would say is your biggest role model or has had the most profound influence on you in your school career.
I'd say one of the biggest role models for me would be Mrs. Maddock. She's always super positive no matter what's going on. She always helps us. She's really approachable, really easy to talk to. She never hesitates to help us out when we have a question. We can go in after hours and ask questions, and she's always just super positive and super helpful.
Awesome. And Madison?
I would say Mr. Calpine, because he has been one of my biggest mentors, and he's coached me ever since I was super young, and he's had a really long and lasting impact on my life because he's really good with motivational words, and he's just a really good person to look up to, and not only for me but for other basketball players, other students, and even the younger kids as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your honesty and participation in today's interview, and thank you so much to you, the public, for watching Senior Spotlight. We will see you next week.
Welcome back to Around Town. At this point in time, our world is changing like never before. But these transformations aren't only occurring on a national or worldwide level. These changes are happening right here in our community. I am here in downtown Osakis, reporting on a fundamental part of our community, our local paper, the Osakis Review. The Osakis Review. The Osakis Review has been printing local community news for over a century. However, this past week, They announced that they will make their final publication on May 6th, and after that, they will cease printing anything in either print or online. This decision was not solely spurred by the pandemic, but also because of the decreasing support from our local community. I had the pleasure of speaking with Jody Hansen, current publisher of both the Echo Press and Osakis Review. Her favorite thing about publishing the Osakis Review was that she was able to share community news, whether accidents or sports, all the way to government and school. She finds it very important to support the local community and keep them informed. Ms. Hansen thinks that the biggest impact that the closure of the Osakis Review will have on the community will be that the community won't really have a voice. Ms. Hansen believes that a strong community is built up by three main factors. A strong school, we have that Silverstreaks, strong finances and an economy, and a strong press, which we have had for over a century, until next month. Ms. Hansen believes that unless our community and community leaders are willing to step up and support the local paper financially, the Osakis Review may never be revived. But the Osakis Review is not the only pillar in our community that has undergone some changes recently. I'm here today at the Osakis Galleon. After talking to Angie Renke, the administrator and CEO of the Galleon, I learned some current information about the senior living. For the past few weeks, the Galleon has been off limits to any and all visitors due to the coronavirus. Despite this, the residents have been remaining mostly content. The staff is also continuing to be very cautious and is going the extra mile to ensure that the residents are as safe as possible. They have daily temperature checks as well as questionnaires concerning whether they have had contact with coronavirus victims. They also wear masks all day and wash their hands very frequently. If you want to help the Galleon, you can send in food or masks or write cards or letters to the address on the screen. And most of all, Angie asks the community to keep the staff and the residents in your prayers, because together, we will get through this pandemic. Well, that's it. See you next week around town.
Welcome. I'm here today interviewing Mr. Resley and asking him a few questions. Mr. Resley, what is your general opinion of distance learning?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question, Xander. I think it really, it's kind of a deal where that's an ongoing thing. It really depends on when you ask me that question. It kind of is an evolving thing. If you would have asked me that way back when this started, I guess it would have been a lot of apprehension and nervous. Teachers were kind of given the direction that we're going to be kind of reinventing education in 8 days, going to distance learning, and that was kind of I put a lot of nervousness in me in doing that. And at one point, I remember Mr. K saying, "Hey, we're going to try this Zoom thing, and let's get on board with that and test this out." And I remember doing that, and I thought, wow, this is really neat. I think this is something that I can latch onto and really make the distance learning thing work for me in what I do. That was quite a learning curve, because the implementing that and getting the setup, all that nervousness turned into frustration, because it was a lot of scheduling. I'm looking at 124 students to try to set up with Zoom to make it work, and so that was kind of frustrating. Now that I'm in it and doing it, and we've been doing this for 5 weeks now, I guess my opinion would be kind of acceptance now. I've got it going, it's working. It's a matter right now of kind of learning what to let go on your expectations. In this new world we're in, we have to learn to let certain things go and move forward with what works. and that's kind of what I've been doing.
And well, without the ability to rehearse with your students like you normally do, what have you been doing exactly to help teach your class like you normally would?
Okay, for you guys, for the older students, that's kind of really different. I miss the students. I miss making the music, so in terms of assignments and stuff for you guys, I've tried to mix it up a little bit. For the older students, when I started the first week, to me, I felt it necessary to try to bring closure a little bit to maybe the contest. We were geared up. In 2 days, we were ready to go when things shut down. So I wanted to bring some closure to contests, and so I gave a couple assignments there on, compare and contrast and doing a critique on listening to recordings of the performance and all that. I've done other things such as listening assignments, and I had all of you students perform something for me of your choosing, just to kind of see how that works with the older students. Some of my assignments are basically to just kind of get you older students to think a little bit. I'll tell you what, some of the responses I got from that, I mean, I was just wow. And some of them I almost made me want to cry, not because it was bad, but because of how good some of those responses were. And personally, that meant a lot to me,
And is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers at home?
Oh, yeah, wow. I guess basically I would just say thank you. Thank you to the community. Thank you to administration. Thanks to all my fellow, my colleagues and staff members. Thank you to the students. I feel like we are moving forward. I may not be moving forward as fast as I want to be moving forward, but moving forward nonetheless. Better than staying still or going backwards. And I would just say thank you to everybody that's listening right now. That we're all in this together and just doing the best we can. And I think there's just been a lot of great support. I felt good support from the students and from the staff and the community, and a lot of positive comments. And as we move forward, I think we just all have to stay positive and do our best every day. Just do your best. And at the end of the day, that your best has to just be good enough. We'll come out of this all right.
Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Xander. All right, so long.
And thank you, Mr. Wesley, for that wonderful interview. Until next time.
I'm Logan.
I'm Xander.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Thomas.
And we will see you next week for episode 11. Bye!
Bye.